So in this video, we'll be looking at collecting like terms, which is actually the first topic on our algebra series. Okay, so first of all, we need to think about what does the word term actually mean. So I'm just going to quickly write down a definition for that. So by term, I mean collection of numbers and variables. Okay. Now, by variables, what I mean is actually just symbols. Okay, so symbols used to represent numbers. Now, these could be, for example, X, Y, A, B, C, etc. Okay, the list goes on. So a term, like I said, is a collection of numbers and variables which are either multiplied or divided together. Okay. Okay, so for example, we've got this expression over here. We've got 6 plus x squared plus 2x plus 5xy. Now, this expression is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4 different terms. Okay, so for example, this one, the first one we've got is a number term. Okay, I'll just write NO for number term, because it's just literally a number, so that's a term on its own. And then we've got x squared, that's another term, so it's just an x squared term. Okay, and then next we've got a x term, okay, which is just 2x. 2 is being multiplied by x, so that's a different term to the x squared. Okay, and then we've also got 5xy, which is an xy term. Okay, so that's not going to be the same as an x term or an x squared just because you see an x in it. Okay, because it's also being multiplied by a y, so it makes it a completely different term. So now that you know what term actually means, we're now going to look at how we can collect like terms together. Okay, and by like, I just mean terms that have got the same combination of variables. Okay, so far you can see in this expression we've got different combination of variables. Okay, we've got an x squared term, an x term, and an xy, and a number term, so they're all completely different. Now we're going to shortly look at like terms, expressions which have got like terms, and how we can actually combine them together. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples where we need to collect our like terms. Okay, so in the first example, we've got 9x minus 3 minus 7x plus 8. So again, I've got an x term, I've got a number term, another x term, and another number term. Okay, so I can already see that I have got some like terms in this expression which I can actually collect together. Okay, so one way to do this is to actually just take a color pen and underline your like terms. Okay, or you can put a box around them, whatever suits you. And what I'd also say is take the sign in front of your term as well and include that in your underlining or in your boxing. Okay, so for example, this is a positive 9x, this is a negative 7x, they're both like terms. And now I'm going to take a different color pen, so my pink one, and underline my number term. So I've got a negative 3 and I've got a plus 8, okay, which are again like terms. And now what I'm going to do is actually collect them. Okay, so I've got my x term, so 9x take away 7x. So the number, the sign in front of your term actually matters, okay, when you're collecting them. So make sure that you do include it. So 9x minus 7x gives us 2x. So that's the answer to that one. And then next I've got a negative 3, okay, my number term, plus an 8. Okay, so that negative sign in front of the 3 matters, so I've got to include it in my calculation here. So I've got negative 3 add 8, which gives me positive 5. Okay, so that's my answer to this question. It is just 2x plus 5. Okay, so that's the answer to the first one. Okay, so our next example, we've got 15x plus 9y take away 3x take away 6y plus 3. Now in this one, I'm going to show you a different way in which we can actually solve this. So if you, for example, just got one different color pen or a highlighter, what you can do is use a different technique to tell yourself which terms are like, okay? So for example, I can see I've got 15x and a negative 3x. Now they are both like terms because they are x terms. So what I'm going to do is put a box around my 15x and a box around my negative 3x, and that way I know in my head that these two are like. Then for my y terms, I'm going to put a circle with the same colour pen. Okay, so if you've just got one colour pen, then that's a technique you can use. And then you know that the one that's left over is the one that does not have any like terms, so that's just my +3. So I don't have to do anything to that, I can just leave it as it is. Okay, and now I'm actually going to go ahead and collect them. So 15x, take away 3x, gives us 12x. Okay, so notice again I've included circles because they're quite important. The 15x we already know is positive, so I don't have to write anything in front of that. Okay, and then I've got my 9y, positive 9y, take away 6y, and that gives me 3y. Okay, and now to write down my actual final answer, I can do it in any order. So just because I've got an x term first does not mean I've got to have my x term first in my answer. Okay, I can start with 3y plus 3, which was the leftover term, and my plus 12x. So I can write them in any sort of order, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so third example, I've got 12a, take away 6b, plus 4, plus 3a, and take away 8. So I'm again just going to do the same method as before. I've got one purple pen, so I'm just going to do boxes and circles and do it that way. So I've got 12a, that's one term, and I've got another a term, which is positive 3a. Okay, and then I'm going to circle my numbers. So I've got a positive 4 and a negative 8. Okay, and that's it for the like terms. The negative 6b does not have any other like term, so I'm going to leave it at that and then collect my like terms. So 12a plus 3a gives me 15a, and then a positive 4 take away 8 gives me a negative 4. Okay, so that's one way in which they can make it tricky, is by doing putting in some negative number questions or in there, okay, for you to solve. So the final answer to this would just be 15a take away 4. Okay, so for my last example, I've got 5x squared plus 3x take away 5 plus 18x take away 12x squared take away 6. So quite a lot of different terms, okay? So I definitely need to be making sure I'm collecting the right ones together. So I've got an x squared term and I've also got another x squared term. So I can go ahead and box them. So 5x squared and negative 12x squared, okay? And I've also got a x term and another x term, so that's a positive 3x and another positive 18x. And then lastly, I've just got my negative 5 and my negative 6, which are also like terms because they are numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and actually collect them. So I've got 5x squared plus, so that's where I've just made a mistake. Take away 12x squared, okay, which gives us a negative 7x squared, okay, and then I've got a positive 3x plus 18x, which gives me 21x, okay, and then lastly I've got negative 5 take away 6, okay, so a negative 5 take away 6 gives me negative 11, okay. And that's the end of it, and then it's just writing them together. And remember, we can write in any order. So negative 7x squared, I actually prefer to start off with a positive term, so I'm going to put my 21x at the start and then my negative 11 at the end. It's just how mathematicians would like to write our answers in a neat manner, so having no negatives at the start, okay. So if you found this video helpful, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.